Have you ever wondered why the political chaos in Venezuela seems to grab headlines, while the reasons behind it remain a mystery to most of us? It's frustrating trying to understand the motivations at play, especially when it feels like there's so much more going on beneath the surface. The United States' attempts to remove Nicolas Maduro from power have been making international headlines for years, and it's an issue that continues to dominate the geopolitical landscape. The question on everyone's mind is, why is the U.S. so invested in this? With the rise of socialist regimes in Latin America, Venezuela has become a focal point in the region. The country's rich oil reserves, strategic location, and historical relationship with the U.S. all play a significant role in shaping the U.S.'s policy towards Venezuela. Understanding the complexities of this issue is crucial in today's world, where international relations are becoming increasingly tangled. Venezuela's political situation has been tumultuous, to say the least. The country was once considered one of the most prosperous in South America, but today it's plagued by hyperinflation, food shortages, and one of the highest crime rates in the world. The roots of this crisis can be traced back to the late 1990s, when Hugo Chavez, a charismatic leader and former military officer, rose to power. Chavez's socialist policies and anti-U.S. rhetoric resonated with many Venezuelans who felt disillusioned with the country's ruling elite. Upon Chavez's death in 2013, his hand-picked successor, Nicolas Maduro, took the reins. However, Maduro's presidency has been marked by authoritarianism, corruption, and a catastrophic mismanagement of the economy. The U.S. has been a dominant player in Venezuelan politics for decades, and its relationship with the country has been marked by periods of cooperation and conflict. The U.S. has historically been Venezuela's largest trading partner, and the country's oil reserves have made it a crucial player in the global energy market. So, what motivates the U.S. to want Maduro out? One key factor is the desire to promote democracy and protect human rights in Venezuela. The Maduro regime has been accused of numerous human rights abuses, including extrajudicial killings, torture, and political persecution. The U.S. also has significant economic interests at stake. Venezuela is home to the world's largest oil reserves, and the U.S. is keen to get its hands on those resources. In 2019, the U.S. imposed harsh sanctions on Venezuela's oil sector, which has had devastating consequences for the country's economy. Furthermore, the U.S. is concerned about the growing influence of China and Russia in Venezuela. Both countries have invested heavily in Venezuela's oil sector, and their presence in the region poses a significant threat to U.S. hegemony. Another crucial factor is the security threat posed by Maduro's regime. The country has become a hub for organized crime and terrorist organizations, and the porous border with Colombia has allowed these groups to flourish. The U.S. has also been critical of Maduro's regime due to his close ties with Cuba and Iran. The U.S. has long seen these countries as adversaries, and Maduro's alignment with them has raised concerns about national security. In terms of evidence, numerous reports from human rights organizations, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, have documented the Maduro regime's abuses. The International Monetary Fund has also reported on the catastrophic state of Venezuela's economy, which has shrunk by over 70% since 2013. According to a 2020 report by the Center for Economic and Policy Research, U.S. sanctions have directly contributed to the deaths of over 40,000 Venezuelans. This has led many to question the true motives behind the U.S.'s actions. Despite these points, some argue that the U.S.'s actions in Venezuela are motivated by a desire to protect its own interests, rather than promote democracy or human rights. They point to the U.S.'s history of regime change and intervention in Latin America, which has often led to chaos and instability. Others argue that the U.S.'s actions are hypocritical, given its own questionable human rights record, both domestically and abroad. They argue that the U.S. has no moral authority to lecture other countries on human rights, given its own involvement in rendition, torture, and drone strikes. In conclusion, the U.S.'s actions in Venezuela are complex and multifaceted. While the desire to promote democracy and human rights is a key motivator, economic interests and national security concerns also play a significant role. What do you think about the U.S.'s actions in Venezuela? Do you think they're promoting democracy, or are they driven by self-interest? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're interested in exploring more about U.S. foreign policy and international relations, be sure to check out our other videos on the topic.